Thank you very much, guys. Here we go. It is a sunny Saturday in Berlin.
It's warm.
It is very warm.
It's too warm.
It's, well, we're into Miramar, or what I actually called it Mirage earlier when I was talking to the NIP guys, because obviously we were discussing other things at the same time.
The memories come flooding back.
Well, it's obviously it's going on in Berlin at the same time, the major's happening, so we were kind of discussing the both things. But here we go. We obviously saw two different sets of drops yesterday because some teams had to adapt with a pretty sharp plane on the second map of Miramar yesterday. Of course, it's a map that Na'Vi did very well on. Raise Your Edge came out winners on. So we'll get to see whether any of these two teams adjust throughout. Obviously, if you think of Digital Athletics clashing with Desperado, Desperados, the first kill of Phase 3, we're expecting to see those changes. And as expected, just like in Game 2, DA made the adjustments back to Los Leones, whereas they were Commissero, weren't they, in throughout Phase 2?
Those first games yesterday were always going to be a little bit messy because, yes, these teams will know each other and kind of feel each other out during the scrims, and overall just throughout general
nerves
knowledge
as well. I think, and if you looked at some of the Twitters, like a lot of the teams were talking about, like obviously it's a nervy first day. Back at school, mate. Back at school.
Flight path as well.
It was.
Like to open it up was like, okay, well we'll throw that one into the wind. Why not? They're all just waiting for all these new teams. They're all waiting for their first island circle on this map. That's the real testing.
So okay, so we're talking adjustments. N47 and Desperados dropping pretty much both. It seemed that we both wanted Impala. It looked to me, judging by the way they've both come down on this coastline. Desperados, as I say, they're kind of looking for home. Ironically, Commissary is now completely open, based kind of off the play path more than anything. Expect a few people going there. And that's why the likes of Team Liquid on your screen here fight so hard for those central locations. You know, they've got Picado, they've got Pachinki, and it seems they've got Boot Camp as well. So they've worked hard in the scrims, in in Face It Global Summit, to make sure they have these spawns.
But that becomes a difficult point because it is the most, if you think about a global scale.
Yeah, when you come to the world scene.
There's a reason why teams do so well off the back of this. And there is, it'd be nice to actually go through every single league and look at the top teams and kind of mirror match them to where they actually drop and to see if we start to see them, some kind of...
a team that drops here qualifies.
Look at FaZe Clan, we had, what was it, 4 teams? You had 17 Gaming, you had C9, you had Liquid.
Yeah.
I think even on this map we had... During GLL, we had Atletico for Picado that was contesting. There was another team around there. So these central locations, the main 2 points of them for me is that, your looting route, the way you go through buildings, they're big enough just to drop down certain areas for 4 players, get completely tanked up in no time at all, in such a little amount of time. And Liquid show that very well because they're always around the 3-minute mark, first ones to go.
It's such a unique thing for PUBG alone, really, because obviously, everybody's like playing PKL's going on, MPL's going to be starting up. You got obviously the Chinese leagues going as well. The Aussies are obviously going to be having theirs getting going soon. Obviously, a couple of roster changes going on there. It's such a unique way it's going. Even between phases, that people have these drop locations and then have to adjust. I mean, that is literally the name of the game. A patch comes out, you have to adjust. But that's the same with all games. But uniqueness for PUBG is your drop location, obviously, we're just talking about drop location. It's all about the rotations, the paths, and so much information that goes into those rotations and knowing your opponent and where they're going to go. You get to a major, or PGC in this case, everything changes, everything goes to the wind. So the in-game leader needs to have so much information stored in his head to make the right call.
Which is why I think these central locations are so contested, because you have many, many options. They're in the middle of the map, regardless of where the circle goes. I mean, okay, you've got all the options that you can move from, but regardless where that circle goes, you're going to be inside it, or at the very least, within kind of touching distance of the center and an easy point of contact to get to that. But yeah, that's where it comes down to coaches, analysts, IGLs, everybody to do their frigging homework at the end of the day. I don't know about other games as such, but sometimes, I mean, we always have a laugh in Halo, for instance. The coach is there just to time power weapons. That's the only... You don't get involved in the game, he's just there to time power weapons. For me, you could literally have an analyst who's there just to go and do the research on where other teams are A, going to be going at these globals when everyone's together.
Yeah.
But B, what's their backup drop? What's their backup plan?
Where do they go from this? Yeah.
Because you need to know, and that's the problem. Especially, you can't go into these things blind. If you do, you're just going to get battered and bodied on arrival, unfortunately.
Well, luckily now we have the announcements. We know there's enough time between the end of Phase 3 to get that research done, to figure out who's qualifying through and figure out how you're going to be clashing, because we saw it at FaZe, you know, how much it can mean with 17 and Team Liquid clashing, you know, the Chinese and European teams clashing for one another. It cost them points in groups. Luckily, they did have that group set up to do it, but when you're in a short tournament format as opposed to a league system, 1 or 2 games, that could cost you the tournament.
Which will be interesting when we actually go to the World Finals, because I believe it's a 2-day finals from the dates. It was only 2 days long, so I'm intrigued to know the very, very grand finals, the last stage of this, how many games will be going through. Because if that's only a 2-day thing, that's going to be short. You can't really fit more than, what, 6 games in, so maximum best of 12.
Yeah.
That'll be, even for the players, 12's a damn long day.
And you have a bad day, you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're written off.
I mean, not necessarily.
Well, you need to have a belt. You need to have a night's final day.
Sunday,
yeah.
But again, it's the whole story of PUBG. You are then reliant on other teams underperforming like you did.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's all coming in the future to a channel near you. You're going to be, it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to seeing how that all plays out. But of course, these teams, and for Europe, it is the top 6 teams have the most slots of anyone, based off their results, obviously, at the Face It Classic. Oh, this is Yannis going to rip him off the bike. Never going anywhere with that one. Buster is done, and he's going to be the first kill of the day. Yannis will collect that one. And starting where he actually finished yesterday, Yannis had a cracking day yesterday. G2 in general, we weren't sure how this new setup was going to be with NELLOZ. Obviously, we saw them in the final game of the day. Some fantastic performances. That's the Tigon. Crab's in trouble. And Edelweiss is down low as well. 7 completely caught out in this rotate. Now, in G2's defense, they're kind of still in their home. They're in LZH, so they're just simply catching 7 on the rotate here.
Yeah, they decided to take this one a little bit wide, which is an intriguing and very interesting split to do. And now it's kind of broken apart, so 2 people will be less separated. I believe Sadovnik has carried on without the rest of the pack. G2 kind of doing the same, so 2 will go for the blue and go for a wide rotate all the way to the east, probably down the coastal road, maybe past Impala, while Braexco and his teammate, which I think is actually Chris, so they are going in 2 pairs once again. They'll continue onwards. FaZe Clan, kind of home territory, certainly not too far, a hop, skip and a jump from Montaigne or Weber. They'll be lingering just on the base of the dark side of the hills. The left-hand side of Kumasera.
And we're talking about information of teams, you know, for FaZe Clan's point of view, this is kind of a standard position for them. With this circle, they kind of go here. And this is all information that obviously the analysts will build, you know, based off they drop Monte Nuevo. Now, suddenly we get to the championships, somebody else drops Monte Nuevo, it may completely force their hand. I've no doubt they'll try and fight for it, but who knows? T-Bone on the retreat, went a little too close to CrowCrowd, tried to see if they could get that angle. From the south, they've decided to rotate around. Looks like they're going to continue around the south. They started Porto Paraiso and onwards. DA looking like they're trying to do a similar thing. While Desperados, they're actually heading towards Picado there, where TSM are currently hauled up, with obviously Team Liquid getting that central position. Actually, a very wide spread from Team Liquid, very ballsy, wide, separate spread. GMC on his own, Zamty on his own, EB and Gemty. Confidence they were there first.
Because we don't have really any walls in place, so we are got a good head of land. Yes, there's a river down at the bottom which limits the southern side of it, but everyone going for the middle. The danger point here is if the circle shifts up to the north.
Look at the timing. Look at the timing. Look at DA. They're just sending it. They're like, circle's about to close, send it to the center.
They're just trying to find somewhere, to be fair.
It's worked out. CrowCrowd,
pretty good for them.
CrowCrowd were on the move way before it. They're going to crash the back of Team Liquid. Now, this is only 2 members of Liquid here, EB and Gemty. So you can see the nades preemptively coming out here.
Gemty, well,
oh, that could clash them. If that nade connects as well, no, it hits the building. So it's going to be MiseDOG down. NOOKIE will be able to get him back on his feet. EB trying to line up the nade. Answered by Gemty. 2 members. Here comes the support. The cavalry is arriving.
That's been stolen from the backlines. MiseDOG actually goes down. Beyond does see that at distance. The SKS will steal the point away. Not necessarily from Liquid, because I think that was off the back of the pull-up knock. But that's in the distance. You can see now the trace of fire from afar. Timmy says, right, time to bail, boys. I'm sorry, Tiikzu, you're going to be left for dead. If they can pick up him as well, that'll be another second stolen point. It is. So Liquid, they don't get any points, but they at least get away with a life and potentially that compound if they choose to stay there. I'm already seeing Scampy very preemptively pre-scouting, but it could be a dangerous play because TSM's rocked up the exact same time.
Oh, and he's getting lit up. I don't know much. It's actually not too bad. So I guess.
I think you pull this back to what you've got. You've got lucky, so just don't.
Well, Reciprocity were lighting up his car as he went down there as well. And like you say, as Feeder pulled in, TSM happened to have just gone into that compound. So Team Liquid holding on that position, looking good. So everybody's kind of repositioned relatively well. Who's been the makers and the shakers? Well, Raise Your Edge are going all the way around La Drillera at the moment. So they're way out west. Meanwhile, 7, of course, they ran into G2. G2 inevitably coming in late here on Los Leones. 7 sort of slowly shadowing them into Los Leones as well.
Raise Your Edge might get a little bit lucky because everyone's magnetizing more towards the city centers and the compounds. And this will leave the darker hills completely open for them. So if they're coming on the lower west side or even all the way down to the south, they're going to be safe for a good circle or two, to be fair. There's no one really around them to engage them. So it'll be very clever or lucky, no matter which way you look at it. But everyone is magnetizing away from that cliffside. ENCE, you have seen one player go down, rather unfortunate, but there is a big pack of players there. So we've got DA, Rec, ENCE, and G2 have just entered the top side of Los Leones. In the distance, I can see 7 making an entry point into Los Leones. Whether or not they swing around and try and avoid that fight's a different topic of discussion altogether. But certainly, on that eastern side, it's going to be quite deadly. The further you come in, you then have this row that will centralize all the teams in the point. FaZe Clan over on the west, no one really in contention for them at the moment. Raise Your Edge, they don't go down south. They decide to put it on the top side of Commissariat, near the oil tankers.
It gives them that aerial view. Going to be looking down. They're going to go towards that corner. 7 skirting around Los Leones.
I'm seeing Braexco pushing out on this one. Whether or not he's actually trying to camp them or knows what's going on here is a different question.
Look at NELLOZ, look at Yannis. They're all coming this way. G2 are looking to try and set up for this. Oh, they absolutely are.
If they're going for these kills, this is great because this is a warning. 7 made a bit of a very strange push onto them to rotate this way.
NELLOZ and Yannis surely hear them. They're on the road. Oh, they're just down here on the left. There's NELLOZ and Yannis. No, they're going to go.
I think they're finding a better position to move and rotate because you can't go forward from where they were to where 7's actually going now. In that top side of Leones, you can't go forward because it's a very barren wasteland.
So I think what the players, so if I remember rightly, they got caught in this sort of position before, and it's tricky to get out of. Yeah, and I was about to say, if the circle shifts, it gives them an open road. Yeah,
that's totally worked. That whole movement there to get away from the main pack of 5 teams has very worked. CrywCrowd, unfortunately, has been left behind, but now they've just got a free entry point to the southern side of that circle. That's really good.
CrywCrowd looks like he's going to yeehaw it off the edge. He has. He's yoinked it off the cliff there. N47 doing a similar move. It's paid off for FaZe Clan. They've been sitting in this compound. The circle's gone their way. We Raise Your Edge as well. Up in the top of Commissariat. They're happy. There's CrywCrowd just sort of squeezing in between 7 and ENCE. Going to lose his back tire, surely. Don't think anyone actually connected there.
M47 also just bombed it across the map, so they've got the one compound that was free all the way down to the south. Raise Your Edge, keeping one player. Sigsy's away from the head of the pack. The rest of them will take that top side. Still of Commissariat, and you mentioned it, the verticality gives them a good aerial view of what's going on in front of them. DA, one player, the new guy, Mitraleius, is dead center. He's on his own though, so where the rest of DA do regroup and meet him, all to be seen. It would be an extremely,
like it's gonna work.
It'd be a good play.
Yeah.
Because no one else is there, to be fair. The danger zone, it's really that northeast side. Knights, TSM, Liquid, all gatekeeping, Desperados, Na'Vi,
It's
Rec.
pulling in. This is going to be N47. You can see it's just Ival on his own at the moment. So he's forced to try and get on his bike and get out of there. TRYFFELI, oh, he gets away with it, but he's on nothing. Any big hit. Oh, he just about gets out and skirts out. Should get away with this one. Now, Na'Vi, we saw them, they made a big rotate around the north. They're going to try and come into Commissariat on the western side of Commissariat, maybe on that hillside position as Page smashes Rustanmar in the van.
See, this is the danger sign for N47. They're trying to do kind of what Liquid does, where you take a bigger land grab for yourself and go for the 2-2 split. However, it failed and it backfired because all of ENCE just rocked up. Yes, they've got a knock, but we've also got G2 knocking on that southern door, so they have to be careful here. For me, They had a really good compound that went for a little bit too much. It might be good now to regroup, gather the troops up, and make a stance, because you're going to have 2 4-man squadrons coming your way. This is... If they get themselves back together, fine, great. Regroup as a team. Fighting that 2-2 split's going to be a hell of a difficult situation.
Oh, 7 are going to have to take some wide rotates here. They're going around the edge of the Knights, who are trying to spray and pray and hope they can get some of them down as Sadovnik tries to do the second pass. That's not looking good, but he manages to bounce it. Now Edelweiss around the other side of the hill. TSM trying to get a bit of piece of this as well. Everybody wants the third party as 7 try to rotate. Reciprocity going to have to do the same as well. You can see Yannis is doing a bit of Evil Knievel. The G2 have actually made it over the road and up the other cliff. That's a great move from G2. I don't know how they got away with it.
Well, they do.
NELLOZ got took.
By doing so, it gives them a bigger footing compared to all the teams that were left behind in that southern side, and it also kind of pays off because the circle, they'll have to make their way to it. They have to walk to the north.
That DA move to the churches, isn't it, there, where they've got to, is absolutely paid off here. The question is, can they stop people crashing them? I think G2 might just try and blast it into the circle. Chris is kind of separated still from the rest of G2. Reciprocity, inevitably, they had this big open run into Team Liquid. Are getting picked apart. This may be an early demise for Reciprocity today.
Still a lot of players alive because the circle actually followed where the head of the pack was. It's hard shifted up to
Navi ascending it.
Northeast area. They've got to. You know what? These guys have been swinging and trying to find a foothold. They've had nothing so far in this game.
Senja pulls up right next to Gaxi, and he gets him down. Gets a little surprise party arrives there. Hits the dirt and survives. The smokes can come out, but no. Shots from the top, of course. Kumisera was taken by Razor Reg. Linksy gets him down and flushes him fast, but instantly was met by the shots from Digital Athletics down low.
And again, with that plateau, they should be able to at least fall back and survive. Udia, not entirely sure if Scum has gone down in the back. If he has, he'll be the last man standing. Oh, yeah, that's rather unfortunate. Gets touched by the circle, so no one steals his points. But Wreck, 16th position for them. Not a great start to day number 2. mxey onto a player from N47, but N47 damaged from 2 different angles. ENCE who have an eyeline on them as well. And if N47 aren't careful, I think they're going to go for like a side road ditch because they can't really go any further or deeper into this circle because of how many teams are in there.
Well, TSM have pulled up near Team Liquid here. You can see Ibby is kind of in the open, in fairness. He's got a little defilade to cover him off, but as soon as, if he doesn't move fast, he's going to get flanked by the likes of Michael here. They have all that building compound now. They're just flushing building to building at the moment. Team Liquid are moving in on this one. You can see James is the other side as he tries to get in position. He's the only man within the compound at the moment. This is actually probably more dangerous for TSM because they can get surrounded. Oh, FaZe, the crash coming in onto DA. This is a ballsy play. Now, can it pay off for them? That's the question. Pull-ups are so hard to make it work. They did get one knock. You can see there's the second. It all started off. They got Mitraleius down. The new boy got caught out. Sixma's going to have to hop out that window to avoid the nade fire that comes in. Fuzz looks like he's been picked off from SIMSY from range. Back up on the Kumisera ledge there.
It was a bit of a panic scenario because Mitraleius actually went down from a third party. That one from ENCE in the distance.
Oh.
So it was an opener from a different roster, and I think everyone just kind of thought, oh god, are we getting pushed from a different angle? Holding where Mert was kind of the gatekeeper for him to get jumped over, and like that's a bit of a foul play.
Are ENCE going to go for the same compound? They are. ENCE are going into the same compound. You can see them in the distance. They're going straight in towards where DA and FaZe are. This is 3 teams crashing the same compound. Now, obviously, they know they got the knock. They know that FaZe are pulled in, so they're well aware. And DA being sandwiched. Meanwhile, Team Liquid and TSM trying to go out here, trying to find each other. ENCE again, third party. Sixmo just mows down everyone. Aitzy and Ubah down. ENCE lose 2 with SKUIJKE as Mitraleius goes off. mxey finally delivers on Sixmo, so no more backstabbing going to happen there as he lays on the ledge, but FaZe need to get themselves revived.
If he gets that nade over here, though, that's a very small window. It's a big window of opportunity, to be fair. ABeautflDeath instantly follows up. TRYFFELI goes down. Rustanmar to follow to boot as well, so unfortunately for ENCE, it hasn't been so easy. 4 teams, everybody just magnetizing towards this one position. What's left of ENCE?
Mitraleius has managed to sprint himself up here and try and get Sixmo back on his feet because they know they're reviving. Razor Edge are playing the advantage here. Trying to come in. So beautiful death down. It leaves just Mitraleius, I think, left on his feet for DA. Yes. So 4 members of Razor Edge. G2 are coming looking. N47 have come in. Page is down there as well. They're all coming towards this compound. What is happening, Rich?
miikaz in the distance like, I'm sorry, boys. I'm not coming in there. I'm staying up here and staying alive. The nade bounces will try and be real. Sigs it. That's your teammate. You got to go careful there, buddy. You got to send that upstairs. Yeah, shaking your head.
Miikaz is like, cheers for that, mate. Cheers.
Yeah, we miss him now and again. mxey actually finds Page in the distance. Aitzy will find Mitraleius. So that's going to be job done. But the nade, as you said, it does find one target in the front of ubah. But here comes the big push.
Oh, do they expect mxey to be the other side though? I'm not too sure. mxey has a peek.
Oh, they've got the cross angle.
Yeah. Aitzy and mxey have it covered. Yeah, Razor back away from that one. They realise, okay.
Jimbo's fallen. He's burning.
Oh no! Oh no! Gotta get the revival, but Razor Edge are gonna push straight on this one. Yeah, instantly nades it back out. That could be a great nade. Second nade pops out, little underhand around the side there. Does catch menox down. Don't think he's gonna be able to help his teammate. Another molly comes in, and now mxey has to run. We're trying to get the revive. The flames are spreading. He's burning. Himself? He's burning. No, it hasn't quite caught him. He's just... How's he survived?
Happening? What is going on?
How did he not get caught in the spread? Oh my word. Meanwhile, TSM and Team Liquid, by the way, they're going out in the picture-in-picture. That's pretty much laying out, but this is bonkers action in the first game. lxey just tossing those nades in there. Coldamenta finds one onto mxey, leaves Aitzy left standing now. Can he return the favor with the revive? No, because the nades continue to rain in. Razor Edge are peeling FaZe and DA apart.
Had one player counting, you should kind of make something of what's been going on in there. SIMSY stolen again, hamster at distance instantly. Picks up another point for GamerLegion. lxey with the bleed out onto Page. That's the M47 kill in the field. No one else has touched him. Ibby answers back with a grenade of his own. Ira will fall down in the garage side. There's still plenty of members of TSM left.
How?
All of a sudden, the Knights. How far? Okay, so they pulled up on the backside of this one.
So, while this is all happening,
there's another team pulling there as well.
There's the Knights and GL sharing a compound, all shooting TSM and Team Liquid. They're not shooting each other. FaZe Clan, they will go down. 12th place for them. Razor Edge will finish them off. So what these two teams that we're looking at here, they are getting third-partied by two teams together. GamerLegion and Knights sharing a compound, all ignoring one another and shooting TSM and Team Liquid.
I don't really know what we can say about this apart from utter chaos. Desperados have been found as they make the approach, though. The Knights have got them dead to rights. They're outside of the circle. And the Knights, if they're careful with this one, they could play spoiler, but the problem is they're in a very exposed position. You can see in the kill feed, Reels hits the deck. He's instantly killed. NOOKIE on to a player from G2. Where's that going to be? Okay, that's out in the distance. M47 finally finished and confirmed. CrowCrowd for G2 is in the central position, so he could be the backup plan. The emergency situation if they need it.
So, while this has all been going on, NIP still got themselves 4 alive. GamerLegion still with 4 alive. I say NIP have 4 alive as Gaxi gets down by Na'Vi. Na'Vi trying to make the flank play actually on them. There is a crate nearby as well. This is all happening on the western side of the circle. On the east, as you can see, very crowded with G2, CrowCrowd, Team Liquid, TSM. This is over on the west. This is the battle that NIP holding that compound. Na'Vi lost 1 earlier on. Senya, who kind of went for that pull-up play. CrowCrowd has been found. He was the only man that was kind of central position. That leaves Yannis, the last man standing for G2. And not a lot of health.
That's really good for Razor Edge, though, to be able to take CrowCrowd out of that position. That now
Desperado's
gives them a
springboard. Desperado's trying to launch in. They've tried to push in behind the Knights. SIMSY and Ultra, the last 2 remaining members of Desperados. But yeah, look at Drayden as well. These guys are on the flank. And that's a problem for Desperados. They've not had a great first day. Obviously, welcome to the PEL as it were, but Snark goes over the peak and instantly gets down.
The bait and switch is there, though. He did back off for a second. He had a quick look, did want to. TSM are on the run in the distance. We'll see how that one goes, though. NIP completely exposed.
Turkey shoot.
The problem is that there's so many teams to be focusing on here. Really, you have to pick your poison. If you shoot one team, there's going to be another one that's right in front of you, and that's the problem that the Knights have.
They were forced out and chased out by Na'Vi, and they tried to run into the back of this third-party kit, hoping they'd get themselves some easy kills, but instead, they are just massively exposed to the Knights. This is the same problem that Desperados just had. It's the reason Desperados just died, because they're running in. Now, down low, TSM, up high, the Knights, and at the back of them, GamerLegion. So really, NIP are running into a turkey shoot. Na'Vi, down low, are actually sneaking in unseen.
The problem is for Na'Vi is that, well, I don't really think they know how many players are actually inside that compound. They're making a move up to it. They've got to knock through the window, which naturally you would do. You'd say, okay, we have a knock, which maybe makes some sort of advancement. But I don't think they really grasp how many players are over there.
Na'Vi get themselves, they come over the peak, they look through the smokes, and then look what appears Just get a little peek around the side there. And they've got themselves revived. So NIP have done a good job to get back on their feet. But that little smoke, that's all they've got. And you can see as soon as the smoke dissipates, it opens up. Miraku gets taken down. Wanted, it's free shooting for him right now.
Any grenade and NIP is toasted.
I think that's the saving grace. I think there's been so much utility used that there's actually no grenades left, it seems.
To make it to that position, you will have to commit a lot of smokes, and once they've dissipated, there's basically nothing left, apart from TSM with the off angle. Batters Gaxi, just takes his head clean off, and Vard, well, that's your last smoke, I believe.
Oh, but he catches all the Navi in the back. That's 2 down. Can he get Aitzy? Aitzy, the last man standing on the highest kills once again yesterday. That smoke popped out, but he gets caught out by Wanted once again. He's been doing some great work from that window, and Na'Vi will get back on their feet, or will they? Because the Knights are pushing. Wanted and Drayden pushing straight across the hillside. Should be an easy spray down. He's got the barrel in hand. It's just going to be simple. Sees them in the smoke, gets the one. Aitzy down. Pokemoldo was revived, but they're just going to catch him in the smoke. There's no way they can get the heals off.
Down for now. They do manage to get the one player up. Again, we're just looking at the wall of smoke here, Drayden on the backside. The players of Na'Vi will just lay down.
Looking for the
wait.
shadows.
He's actually got level 3 gear, but that makes no difference at all. There is a response, though, and instas him in the ground.
So 9 kills and counting for the Knights. They won the first game yesterday, but this is a lot of the work to do now. GamerLegion holding that compound. TSM managed to push in. Team Liquid now done and down as well. G2 still got Yannis in the middle. Raise Your Edge still with 3 alive as well, the other side of the circle. But they are all down low, and it's really about where this circle pulls. If it goes north, it's great for the people in the compound. If it goes south, everybody in here has to have this open run across the road.
Well, that's the good thing and the difficult thing about the church. Yes, it's
Yannis found.
It's a good location. You've got some verticality that you can look outside the top window, especially from the bell tower up top where Beyond is. But if the circle shifts from this, there is a very vast open run, and Raise Your Edge could have quite literally a field day. They'll mow them down as they come across that. The Knights, the TSM, whoever's left from all of this, if this kind of...
I mean, that was a great angle right there. You could see there's nothing. Other than utility you got left,
from them.
We know that the Knights have thrown out a bunch of smokes. TSM have definitely used a bunch of smokes. They can see Michael's got nothing right there. GamerLegion may well have a decent amount of util, but they've got to get out of their compound. It's almost become a prison for them now, this church.
So this is a really good time for Raise Your Edge.
Oh, it's a flash and push. Going straight over the top. mxey gets one, turns it round. Beautiful. Well executed from mxey and GamerLegion there, but it's bought a time for the Knights to get back in the rear end. Oh, it's pulled down south. It's pulled down south to Raise Your Edge. So, okay, what have you got?
This is what I mean. Now they can set up, and they had a crate as well that just came in. So one of the players is level 3'd up. I've already seen an SKS amongst them. They have to play this really well and make full use of it, but make sure that they don't get hit from 2 different angles. Coldamenta will move to the western side of the circle. That's to try and keep any kind of team in check, like the Knights, for example. Once he gives them the call, he can return back to his teammates, but his job now is to keep the Knights at bay. That's a big shot. That's the AWM. mxey feels the full force and full effect of that bad boy.
So Lynxy found himself the crate, it seems. He's going to be happy with that. The Knights, Coldamenta, are actually flustered. That's bought time for Wanted to push it. He knows he managed to tag him. Hamster, though, is getting the teammate. Wanted trying to make this pass. You can see it's simple tap, 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 tap stuff there. Drayden, though, tries to make a response. mxey taken low, but unfortunately can't push any further. Coldamenta confirms the kill, steals it away from GamerLegion there as Bjorn tries to make that push. Sees mxey out low, but instantly, the second he shows him throw out the edge of the smoke, is gunned down.
Points just keep on ticking up. I'm surprised he's even going for this res, to be honest. Should be using the smokes and making as much movement as humanly possible. But then again, I suppose if you keep yourself busy, you might be able to pull second place out of the bag. This would be something drastically go wrong in the terms of picking your wrong poison for Raise Your Edge to lose this one. With 2 players down, there is also another option if you want to try and give yourself up to the blue, but it looks like they're actually going to fight this one through. There's only one way forward now. Lynxy with the AWM has been tagged up. But 2 versus 3 scenario, and you are at the very nasty end. Yeah, denying it, which is fair play.
Raise Your Edge with a great win. 13 kills. We knew if it went that way, they were going to pick it up. But, you know, they were the team that benefited from coming in late, went into the top of Kumisera with FaZe below them, and then as the madness rolled out below them in that compound, 4 or 5 teams all crashing into the same compound, they just third-partied the lot. And then pushed it.
The specific kill at the end there onto Wanted, which came across the knock from GamerLegion. Wanted was chasing Coldamenta. Coldamenta was down to about 20-30% HP. I'm intrigued to see what could have happened, potentially, should Wanted been allowed to get across that. Maybe
lost the flank angle, yeah.
Yeah, because then all of a sudden, you take what BrazyReg have got, which is basically tunnel vision onto one team, then have to split the resources. The last 2 players like, well, who do we fight first? Do we fight the Knights? Do we fight GamerLegion? Luckily for them, third party's realistic. Wanted goes down, they pick up that point. Certainly, they would have wanted the last 2 points if they could have grasped them, but either way, I understand it. Rather than give the 3 points up, why not take a step back and let the blue have them?
Oh, we talked about it yesterday. We were wondering how this roster was going to turn out. That's the second win for BrazyReg already out of 6 games that we played. FaZe, the only other team to have 2 wins, so very impressive early stuff from BrazyReg, and actually, you know, a decent even kill spread for them as well. mxey picking 4 up. I think lynxey had 4, 3 in there. I think it was CrowCrowd that had the other 3. I'm not too sure. I didn't see exactly, but very impressive start from the boys in orange. Again, as I say, they did come in late. They had their standard drop. They were up in the north. You know, they had to make a monster rotate to get around their position. But we've seen them doing this often before. But they really can hit the shots at the moment. They've been putting a lot of practice in, I think. Interested to see how this one develops. Let's hear from the boys themselves. They are on with Parla.